That night, she had the same recurring dream she experienced every time she slept. The strange snake returned to her, staring into her eyes. When it finished circling around her, she woke up. This dream had been happening almost every week since Musa had proposed to her 3 months ago. As she tried to fall back asleep, she heard a sharp siren-like sound in her ears, which hurt like hell. Then her dog Alfred began barking loudly. She got up quickly, turned on the light to look out the window, and saw a large snake slithering over the fence. When she leaned in and looked again closely, it was gone. She went back to bed, wondering if she was hallucinating. What is all this nonsense? She thought before falling asleep again. In the morning, as the sun was already starting to warm the earth, her phone rang loudly, waking her up. "Who is calling this early on a Friday morning?" she murmured. But when she saw the screen, she smiled. "Musa," she whispered, and answered the phone. "Hey, boy," she said in a silly tone. "Who's your boy?" "You'd better go brush your teeth," Musa replied on the other end of the line. "I'm going to pay for our honeymoon hotel today. I hope you've made a decision. You know it's not in Nigeria, and once I pay, there's no going back." "I like this one. I like that one," she said playfully. "I've heard you, my boy. It's the place I love, and the one I've chosen," she added. "Who's your boy?" "You silly girl," Musa said, laughing over the phone. "Oh, and before I forget, Musa, I had that dream again last night, the one I told you about," she said seriously. Musa sighed. "You know you're a zoologist, plus you're always watching Nat Geo Wild. Don't worry, the only snake you'll have soon will be mine," he said, laughing on the phone. "You and your snake, what snake are you talking about?" she said, hanging up quickly, laughing to herself. Musa wanted to reply, but she had already hung up, which made him laugh by himself. He then made the payment on his phone for the hotel he had booked in Switzerland. They had both planned to get married quickly the following week, return to Temi village for 2 days, and then head off on their honeymoon, a plan they had been working on for months. As Musa sat spinning in his office chair, he heard a knock at his door. "Yes, come in," he said, as his secretary entered with another woman. "Sir, this is Miss Clara, the new Deputy Director of Operations, transferred from the Cross River branch to work with you on the projects," the secretary said, and Miss Clara stepped forward elegantly. Clara turned to Musa, shaking his hand. "Hello, Mr. Musa. It's a pleasure to finally meet you. I've heard so much about you," Clara said softly and elegantly. "Well, I try to build a good reputation. It's nice to finally have you here. I'm very confident that having someone with your incredible talent among us will speed up the progress of this project," Musa replied. "Well, that should be the case, but first, I'd like you to give me a tour of the company to get things started," Clara said. "Oh, no problem, I'd be delighted to do that," Musa said, standing up and opening the door of his office for Clara, who walked past him, smiling and looking into his eyes. Meanwhile, in her apartment, Temi decided to make breakfast and headed into her kitchen, looking at all the food she had. "It's so nice to be rich," she thought to herself, taking out vegetables from the fridge to start chopping them. Suddenly she heard the same sharp sound in her ears again, but this time it sounded like a snake hissing. Then, after a few seconds, it stopped. Temi paused, shocked, looking around her. "What are all these noises and this ringing? I think I need to see a doctor," she whispered to herself, and began preparing the vegetable soup. When she finished, she turned on the TV to watch her usual Nat Geo Wild and saw the same snake from her dreams attacking a large male deer, breaking its bones, while a female deer could only watch in fear. For some reason, what she was watching on TV seemed different, as if she was seeing an entirely different scene, but she couldn't understand. Suddenly, she smelled burning soup. "Oh no, my soup!" she screamed, running to the kitchen. On the other side, Musa was giving Clara a tour of the company, showing her the different departments. "This is impressive, Mr. Musa. You seem to know every worker and every place in this company. Remarkable," Clara said, walking beside Musa. "I hardly stay in my office. I like to involve everyone and keep them focused on the company's goals every day, which is why I know everyone and every place here," Musa replied. "Oh, that's impressive. But by any chance, Mr. Musa, are you single? I'll be totally honest here. I know I just arrived, but your aura really flatters me," Clara said, smiling. "Oh, sorry, Miss Clara, I'm already engaged. I'm actually getting married next Wednesday and leaving Nigeria the following week. Next, but thank you for your interest and kind words. Well, I had to try. I knew for sure that a man like you wouldn't be single anyway. The project will start tomorrow. I need to go find my reservation." "Thanks for the visit," said Clara as she walked towards the door. She got into her car and left. "Wow, what a confident and sophisticated woman," thought M, as he turned to his desk. That afternoon, Musa went to Temi's house. Seeing him arrive, she shouted from the upper balcony of her house, "Ah, my darling!" and she ran downstairs to kiss Musa, who was smiling as he got out of his car. "My love, what did you buy for me?" she asked, hugging Musa. "With your sharp tongue, I bought you glue for that," said Musa as they both entered the house. Once inside, she gave Musa the food she had prepared for him, and they started talking about their day. "You see, the new general manager is this new woman, and she asked me out today. You can see you're going to marry a very handsome man," Musa said, laughing. Temi looked both concerned and interested. "Well, what did you say?" replied Temi. "I told her I'd think about it," said Musa, getting up and trying to run away from Temi. "Well, you'd better," Temi replied, throwing a pillow at him. "Do you have her picture? I want to see it." "Why would I have another woman's photo on my phone? My beautiful Temi is the only woman I have on my phone." "Oh, stop playing," Temi replied sarcastically. "Stay here tonight, please. Stay," Temi said, looking at Musa, who smiled at her. "Wow, you want me by your side all the time. See how much you love me," he said, laughing. "Okay, I'll stay the night." Temi continued to look at Musa with a sarcastic expression. "Keep feeling yourself. You can even leave," she said, smiling as they both entered their bedroom and got comfortable on the bed. After a few minutes, Musa's phone suddenly rang with an unregistered number. "Hello, is this the CEO of the Manako Company?" asked the voice on the phone. "Yes, it's me. Who am I speaking with?" "I'm Dr. Femi from Pro Health Hospital. Your deputy director was brought here unconscious, and we found your card and number with Clara. She was brought to the hospital because of an asthma attack. We need you now at Pro Health Hospital." "What? I'm coming," replied Musa, getting up quickly. "Sorry, Temi, I'll be back soon. My new assistant is now at the hospital," he said, rushing out of the house. Temi, looking confused, heard the same high-pitched ringing in her ear as Musa drove away in his car. When he arrived at the hospital, he was directed to where Clara was. When he arrived, Clara was now conscious. "Oh, Miss Clara, what happened?" asked Musa. "Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Musa. I'm asthmatic, and I took it lightly. Thank God the cleaners were in my room when I fainted." "I don't think that room is safe," said Clara to Musa as the doctor approached. "So, Mr. Musa, you're welcome. We could only contact you because the other people on her contact list weren't reachable. It would be advisable for Miss Clara not to sleep in that hotel, and the cost of her treatment is 200,000. You should decide who will pay," said the doctor. "Don't worry, Mr. Musa. I'll take care of the payment. But could you please stay home tonight?" said Clara. "No problem, as long as you're safe," replied Musa. Once the hospital bills were settled, Musa took Clara to his home. Upon arriving, he showed her to the guest room. "I think this place should be comfortable for you. If you need anything, press this button, and I'll be right here," said Musa, as Clara lay down on the bed. "You can take something to drink from the refrigerator," he added before leaving for his room. The next morning, when Musa woke up, he went to the room where Clara had slept and knocked on the door but heard no response. He kept knocking but still heard nothing. Then he quickly opened the door and saw no one inside. Musa wondered where she might have gone and started looking around his house. He finally went out to the patio where his pool was and saw Clara swimming. "Oh, you found me. Sorry for using your pool without your permission. I needed to cool off after all the stress from yesterday," said Clara, swimming toward him. Oh, don't worry, it's not a problem. I hardly use it. It's good that someone can finally swim in it. I hope you're feeling better now, said Musa. Oh yes, I feel much better. I'm going out today with the only friend I have in Lagos. She doesn't even know that I'm in Lagos. We'll both look for a better hotel today. I hope she'll agree, said Clara. Before Musa could respond, a call from Temi came through on his phone. Hi, darling. Sorry for ignoring you like that yesterday. I'll come over to your place in a few minutes. All right, no problem, replied Musa as he hung up. Girl stuff, huh? Said Clara as she got out of the pool, revealing her shiny, curvy body while Musa watched. He could see every detail because her body was soaked with water. Ah, yes, girl stuff, he said as he walked away. I'm going to rest now. Well, since you'll be busy all of next week because of your wedding and everything, I think we should have a short discussion this evening about the project, said Clara as she prepared pancakes at the dining table and Musa followed her. But when he sat down on the chair, his head suddenly started spinning and his hand began to tingle as if he were hallucinating. He tried to shake his head to regain control of himself. Oh, I think it's already working, said Clara, smiling at Musa, who looked confused. What do you mean by, it's working? Did you drug me? You're a smart man, Musa. I think you should have figured it out by now. Soon the hallucinations stopped, but Musa's heart started beating fast, and his body became extremely excited. Clara got up from her chair and approached Musa, sitting on his lap and starting to rub against him. Musa tried to stay aware of himself, but he couldn't manage it. Before he knew it, he had a sexual encounter with Clara. During the event and his hallucinations, he saw snake tongues and scales, but he didn't understand because he wasn't conscious or in control of himself. The next morning when he woke up, he found himself in his bed, vaguely remembering what had happened the night before. Then he quickly got up, filled with guilt.